There are a ton of different things they could be used for. I mean, they could be building rehabilitation labs, job training programs, subsidized housing. I mean, I've heard of a lot of programs that are, ex-offender reentry, labs for urban agriculture, houses for, bringing in more young people or, giving. I mean, we've got 7,000 of them. Or 7,000 that are slated for demolition or in some way vacant. I mean, it's just a huge resource.
You need the policymakers, the legislators, the people kind of pulling the strings here to have an open and innovative approach to some of these things. Like you said, there's a million different things you can do with even a vacant house, let alone a factory or an old venue or something. And for example, this summer we ran a program where we had interns come to Cleveland, and we found houses that were vacant, that had been sites of drug activity and various things for a while. We got in touch with the owners of those houses, and then we placed the interns there for free, fixed up the houses, made the community feel more lived in, helping to kind of revitalize that block, while at the same time getting something for a program like ours, or any innovative entrepreneurial nonprofit. It really can be anything, but people need to think outside of the box. They need to think, okay, we have a vacant house here. Rather than thinking about this being a major problem, we need to think of it as a resource. It's a big space that most people pay $500 a month for or $1,000 a month for, and it's just sitting there unused. If we can find good uses for it, we should be very open and try to streamline the process to actually putting it to the best use.
I think one of the most positive things that could really be done is really just a kind of ramp up of the education of how you go through that red tape, how you work on the existing structures. Because it's there are houses available, but the timeline for getting ownership of those houses, doing something with those properties is a long, arduous, and complicated process. And I think the more people you kind of bring into that process, you really start to kind of create a critical mass, a real movement towards a kind of engaged citizenry that knows what to do.
I think if an average citizen actually saw what you're saying, maybe a picture or an advertisement showing these buildings, I think it would probably give them a lot of inspiration and maybe even motivate them to do something they've been thinking about for a while already. So I think that would definitely be something inspirational.
Another thing is, what can a individual do about something like that? I mean, what if I want to do something about it, but I don't want to own that property? What if what can I do? That's another thing. I don't know what I can do as I'm just sitting here. I don't know what can I do to a certain building.
I think, again, kind of going back to the project that Scott was referring to, that I worked with him also on over the summer, a lot of what we did was really connect residents with resources that were already available that they just didn't know existed. And I mean, to look at the face of a resident who realized that they, qualified for a program that would, for free, retrofit and weatherize their house, make their house warmer, save them energy and money. Again, these things exist. I'd refer you or other people to ESOP, Empowering and Strengthening Ohio's People, which really works on taking community action around. I mean, they primarily do foreclosure, but they also do actions on vacant houses. But so, something that really is kind of an awareness raiser, again, of all these resources that really already exist. A lot of these models are some of the best, are nationally recognized, but maybe aren't even, acknowledged or understood by the neighbors who live right next door to the headquarters. And so that's, to me, a real key piece is linking up residents with what's already there.